The auction. The stars above Pterixis Prime shimmered like a jeweled net cast across an endless void. Below, amidst an ocean of glowing spires and airborne transports, the auction spire rose like a black needle piercing the heavens. Inside its obsidian shell, beneath crystal chandeliers and pulsing data screens, the elite of the Galactic Empire gathered to indulge their darkest craving, the trade of intelligent life. On this night, the bidding hall was at capacity. Every seat, platform, and private viewing chamber overflowed with alien nobility, Zarkan flesh barons, Nitherian thought pirates, Ulkarai hive lords, even a Dradari prince, his tendrils twitching in anticipation. Each one had come not for art or relics, but for something far rarer. Humanity, the species once known for its defiance, innovation, and chaotic stubbornness, had been crushed 3 decades ago. Earth lay in radioactive ruin. Mars was a penal colony. Luna, a mining station run by machines. The remaining humans were either enslaved or scattered across the Empire, hunted like vermin, or worse, collected. Because in the decadent eyes of the Empire, humanity's extinction only made them more valuable. The lights dimmed. A fanfare blared. The crowd hissed and clicked in excitement as a towering announcer bot hovered above the main stage. Esteemed galactic citizens, it boomed, its synthetic voice echoing through the chamber. We present to you Lot 38. A cage emerged from beneath the floor, encased in shimmering containment fields. Inside, a girl no older than 12 sat cross-legged on a metal platform. Her hair was a wild mane of tangled black, her skin bruised from restraints, her violet eyes burning with something the audience mistook for fear. Elira Vale, freeborn, Earth lineage, no genetic tampering, no slave chip, the last known unbroken human child. Gasps and murmurs filled the auction chamber. A relic, whispered a Vel-carrying noble, adjusting its gemstone-studded mask. Not a relic, crooned the Zarkan slaver lord Corval the Red. An heirloom, and I will own her. Elira's fingers tightened into fists. She'd been taught not to cry, not even when they dragged her from her hiding hole on Davra 9. Not even when they caged her. Her mother had died free. Her father, too. If they were watching now, she wouldn't let them see her break. A light struck the auctioneer. We begin bidding at 20 million credits, the bot announced. Hands, claws, tendrils, and neural pulses shot forward. 30 million, 45, 60 million credits from the House of Grawl. The numbers climbed like a scream in the dark. Far above, in the shadows of Pterixis Prime's thermosphere, a ship drifted silently. Matte black hull, no emissions. It bore no official tag, no registration, but it pulsed with a quiet fury. On the bridge stood Commander Riker Kane, battle-scarred and silent. He watched the auction feed through a glowing holograph, arms crossed over his chest, jaw set like iron. The years had not dulled his hatred. They had only tempered it into something surgical. "Tell me that's her," he muttered. "It's her," said Lieutenant Amara Black, tapping commands on a hollow panel. DNA confirms. Elira Vale, daughter of Arlen and Kira Vale. Resistance cell Dawnfire. Both confirmed Kia last cycle. Riker exhaled slowly. "She's the last one." "No," Amara said. "She's the spark." They stood in the command deck of the last Ark, humanity's final dreadnought, long thought destroyed in the fall of the Sol system. Its AI, Valhalla, had gone silent for years, rebuilding in asteroid belts and siphoning dark energy from collapsed stars. And now it waited. Riker turned to his crew. 50 elite survivors of Earth's fall. Veterans. Ghosts. Demons, some said. "This isn't a rescue mission," he said. "This is a declaration." "Then it begins?" asked Sergeant Nico Drawn, cracking his knuckles. Riker nodded. "It begins." He leaned forward and tapped a small red button. Back in the auction hall, the bidding had reached 160 million credits. Corval the Red had just outbid a Vunari lord by offering a private moon as collateral. The gavel was about to fall. Then the lights flickered. Every screen in the chamber went black. The announcer bot stuttered. "What is this?" A new image replaced the broadcast. A man, human, grizzled, gray-haired, with a long scar running from his left brow to the edge of his jaw. His eyes were steel. "Citizens of the Empire," Riker Kane said, voice calm, tone deadly. "You thought we were gone. You thought you could sell our children, and we would remain silent. You were wrong." Gasps and roars of outrage echoed. "This auction," Riker continued, "is your death warrant." The feed cut out. Then the sky screamed. Hundreds of ships appeared above Trixis Prime. Cloaked vessels once invisible, now flashing red with war protocols. Human warships, drones, orbital lances, forgotten AI constructs, each bearing the seal of a shattered Earth. "Shields are down," screamed a Zarkangard. "Impossible. No one can penetrate Trixis Prime." From orbit, the last arc opened fire. A beam of solar-forged plasma sheared through the sky, striking the city's central power hub. Buildings fell. Screams echoed. Panic swept the auction like wildfire. Elira's cage shattered as her restraints powered down. "Move, kid!" shouted a human in black armor, blasting a hole through the platform. It was Amara Black, rifle in one hand, plasma blade in the other. Elira blinked, stunned. "You're human?" "Damn right," Amara said, grabbing her arm. "Now run." They dashed through chaos as alien nobles fled. Slaver guards fired wildly, but exo-suited humans dropped from the ceilings, executing precise strikes. Every move was rehearsed, every target pre-marked. Riker's voice rang out across all frequencies. "To the enslavers, there is no peace. To the profiteers, there is no pardon. To the buyers of our blood, there is only fire." By the time Amara reached the evac point, Elira was covered in ash and blood, but her eyes burned brighter. She turned to the city, now half engulfed in flames and sonic rifts. "Are we winning?" she asked. Amara looked down at her, battle-worn and fierce. "We're not here to win," she said. "We're here to end it." Above, the last arc began charging its primary weapon, something last used in the Battle of Saturn's Rings. Riker Kane stood alone in the firing chamber. "For Earth," he whispered. Then he pulled the trigger. Requital protocol. Trixis Prime burned. What had moments ago been the opulent jewel of the Galactic Empire's core worlds was now a storm of fire and screaming metal. The sky was a latticework of tracer fire and plasma streaks, crisscrossing like vengeful lightning. Alien nobles scrambled into private shuttles, only to be cut down by orbital cannons before liftoff. The last arc hovered above, a god among insects, its black hull glowing from the heat of its last strike. Inside, on the bridge, Commander Riker Kane watched with a stillness that bordered on holy wrath. "All primary targets neutralized," reported Valhalla, the ship's AI, its voice deep and resonant. "Zarkan fleet has scrambled. Dradari command ship is attempting a dimensional phase jump." Riker's lips curled slightly. "Let them." A moment later, the Dradari vessel winked out of existence, only to reappear halfway through the auction spire, its jump coordinates corrupted by Valhalla's predictive code. The result was instantaneous and catastrophic. Both ship and structure detonated in a blossom of black fire. Across the galaxy, resistance cells, long dormant, long hunted, activated in unison. On 13 worlds, Slaver headquarters went dark. On 5, orbital platforms vanished in nuclear fire. In every major system, encrypted human signals played a simple message. Humanity has returned, and we have not forgotten. Elira Vale stood barefoot in the hangar of the last arc, staring at a wall where the names of Earth's fallen were carved in silver. Her own parents' names shimmered near the top. She touched them lightly, then turned as Amara Black entered, wiping blood off her armor. "You okay, kid?" Amara asked. Elira nodded. "Did we kill them all?" "Not yet," Amara said. "But we will." She kneeled and placed a hand on the girl's shoulder. "What they did to you, to all of us, can't be undone. But today, we made sure they'll never do it again." Elira looked up, her voice quiet. "I want to help." Amara's smile was soft, but fierce. "You already are." Back on the bridge, Riker stared at the growing list of Empire systems lighting up red on their star map. Each one marked a new uprising, a new target. The galaxy was bleeding, and for the first time in 30 years, it was bleeding from wounds inflicted by humans. Lieutenant Nico Dron strode in, helmet under his arm. Corval's dead. We caught him trying to bribe one of our guys. Riker arched a brow. And he asked for mercy. Riker didn't blink. What did you give him? Nico smirked. Oxygen. And a window. Riker gave a single nod. Broadcast it. A moment later, every major screen in the galaxy displayed Corval the Red, a creature worth trillions, suffocating in open space, clawing at the invisible barrier until his organs ruptured. Below him, burned into the planet's crust by orbital lance, were three massive words. We remember Earth. 6 hours later, the Empire's core. The Galactic Senate convened in emergency session, panic infecting every word. This is impossible, croaked a high Nitherian, his mandibles trembling. Humanity was eradicated. Clearly not. Hissed a Dradari war matron. They're using forbidden tech. AI constructs, sun lances. This was coordinated, interrupted a Zarkan general. They knew every weak point, every schedule, every blind spot. This wasn't rebellion. This was retribution. The Chancellor, a bloated Zothian creature with 17 hearts, slammed its staff. We must contact them, it wheezed. Negotiate. Offer reparations. A treaty. Too late. The chamber's screens flared. Riker Kane appeared, projected above them like a ghost of vengeance. You auctioned our children, he said coldly. You enslaved our mothers. You dissected our fathers. We offered peace once. You answered with chains. An Ulkaride delegate shouted, What do you want? Riker's eyes blazed. Your extinction. Then came the solar lance. It struck from low orbit, burning through the atmosphere like the wrath of a god. The Galactic Senate chamber vanished in white fire. The Empire fell silent. 72 hours later, across the stars, one by one, Empire worlds surrendered. Not to peace, not to mercy, but to fear. Humanity had returned not as diplomats or traitors, but as reapers. The last arc split its fleet. Each battle group headed to former slave worlds. Where humans were found, they were liberated. Where they had perished, their names were engraved and their murderers vaporized. On Garros V, human children once raised as gladiators were given weapons and let loose in the pens that once held them. On Vexilent, a breeding facility was turned into a black site for interrogating Empire commanders. Every answer bot with a tooth, every lie costing an eye. Back aboard the last ark, Alira stood beside Riker on the command platform, watching as another enemy dreadnought fell to human fire. She wore a clean uniform now, with a patch on her sleeve, terror rising. Riker didn't look at her, but his voice softened. You're sure you want this? I am, she said. I saw what they did. I lived it. I'm not scared anymore. He nodded. Then welcome to the war, Alira Vale. Final broadcast, the New Order. The final chapter of the Empire closed with one last message, transmitted across every known channel. The camera showed Earth's ruins, still radioactive, still scarred. Then the voice of Valhalla echoed. You auctioned our daughter. You called it profit. You enslaved our people. You called it order. You wiped out our world. You called it peace. We call it war. Then came Riker's voice. The age of empire is over. The age of humanity begins. And across the stars, billions watched as the symbol of the Terran resistance, an open hand wrapped in chains, breaking free, lit up every screen.